It's been a minute, but I think most of you know me. My name is Carrie Cox, and I'm a minister in the community as well as a magazine publisher. I'm proud to say we have 65 million magazines in circulation in the United States and Canada. So when you guys are ready to get underway with your tourism stuff, I hope you'll come talk to us. I'm here today to talk about our taxes, and because God compelled me to come and talk to you all. Ezekiel 33, 7 through 9 basically says that if I don't bring my grievances to you, then I am complacent in your sin, and I can't do that to you or to me. I recently gave a sermon about Jonathan Mayhew and how several decades before Jonathan Mayhew, or before the American Revolution, Jonathan Mayhew said, disobedience to tyrants is obedience to God. And he was preaching on Romans 13. And so I serve God, I don't serve man. That's in Acts 5:29. And God put us on the land that is in dispute with this fiscal court. Micah 2, 1 through 2 says, "What sorrow awaits you who lay awake at night, thinking up evil plans. You rise at dawn and hurry to carry them out, simply because you have the power to do so. When you want a piece of land, you find a way to seize it. When you want someone's house, you take it by fraud and violence. You cheat a man of his property, stealing his family's inheritance." God brought my family to this farm over 200 years ago when Rachel Jack and Charles Cox first set foot on the land. And I can name every person from them up until my husband and I purchased the land. Proverbs 22 through 28 says, "Don't cheat your neighbor by moving the ancient boundary markers that were put there by previous generations." We have an original will, a deed, and a survey that William Henderson created to keep the government or anyone else from trying to steal the land, and that should trump everything else. Job 24:2 says evil men steal land by moving the boundary markers. We have been injuncted from exercising our property rights that we currently and continue to pay taxes on for nearly a decade now. We purchased this property in 2017. It will be 2027 next year. We have had our property rights denied while we have been slandered and defamed. Our animals have been killed. I have been assaulted and shot at. And yet repeatedly in court documents, we hear the attorneys that represent you say that we have no damages. No one has ever apologized to us. No one has ever attempted to make what's happened to us right or to right the court record. Psalm 35:11 says, "Malicious witnesses testify against me. They accuse me of crimes that I know nothing about." Well, I believe that fraud has been committed on the courts, and Isaiah 59 has a lot to say about that. We have multiple surveys, including one from 1891. The drawings for each survey look identical, yet your county surveyor, Mike Ruggles, is the only one that says that our property line goes to the center of the creek. Well, if our property line goes to the center of the creek, then our barn, our house, our smokehouse, our yard wall, all of these static monuments that are named in our deed wouldn't fit on our property. Mike Ruggles admitted during his deposition that point C on the map, a point called out in our deed, lies on the other side of the creek, not in the middle. Yet there's been no attempt by this fiscal court to remedy the situation. In fact, Mike Ruggles changed our PVA map prior to the fiscal court filing the lawsuit against us, which was testified to in one of the depositions. That's right. You filed the lawsuit against us. We did not file a lawsuit against you. Yet we heard testimony from fiscal court members stating they were told that we filed a lawsuit against them. They thought that they were simply responding to our lawsuit because that's what they were allegedly told. Ben Harrison did the title search and closing on our house in private practice. He turned around in his capacity as county attorney and sued us, saying that he didn't sell us, but he sold us. We said we wanted to use our title insurance to defend that, and he said, "Oops, I took your money but forgot to get it." The window of opportunity to fess up and fix these things is closing. Hosea 5:10 says, The leaders of Judea have become like thieves, so I will pour my anger out on them like a waterfall. The FBI's public corruption team has been at my door multiple times to discuss this situation. Your county attorney and your county surveyor have been under investigation. Numbers 32:23 says, "But you fail to keep your word. Then you will have sinned against the Lord, and you may be sure that your sin will be found out." We are here to speak today because we don't know if you all are complacent or simply ignorant to the facts. George Sparks, I believe that you're a good man. I watched you read scripture to people during COVID. You testified during your deposition that you wanted to do the right thing. Yet I have repeatedly asked you to confer with your attorneys, and you have made no movement in that direction. In fact, you admitted during your deposition that tax dollars were being spent to sue us on behalf of other unnamed individuals, and that was a precedent being set in Lewis County that had never been done before. Exodus 23:1-2 says, "You must not pass along false rumors. You must not cooperate with evil people by lying on the witness stand. You must not follow the crowd in doing wrong. When you are called to testify in a dispute, do not be swayed by the crowd or twisted by justice." Woody, I believe that you're a good man. You're a man of God. I've heard you testify to that many times. We've heard other people who were members of this fiscal court say that they were misinformed. And I don't see you helping work to remedy the situation. And James 4:17 says, "Remember it is a sin to know what you ought to do and then not do it." And Ephesians 5:11 says, "Take no part in the worthless deeds of evil and darkness. Instead, expose them." One of you sitting on this fiscal court was present the day that I was assaulted. I have you on video, and yet you're allowed to make votes about what happens to us or have any say in what happens to our land when you were there with people who were criminally charged. Another of you was prominent in disseminating misinformation about our family, and you too have taken part in this continued charade. God brought us here. We aren't going to go away. We aren't going to relinquish our land because that would be a sin. It is a sin for us to walk away from someplace that God put us. And it is a sin for you to steal it. You are already taking our tax dollars while denying us our rights and not being good stewards of the tax dollars of other citizens by perpetuating potential fraud on the court. Exodus 20:15 says, "Thou shalt not steal." It's a good time to discuss this because you're looking at Ben's budget. Who is representing the county? How much are you paying other people to represent the county in this dispute that's lasted almost a decade now? Because Ben has a conflict of interest. Every time we have to charge someone criminally, another attorney has to be paid because Ben has a conflict of interest. I don't know if that comes out of his budget or your fiscal budget, but I can tell you that taxpayers are footing that bill. So when you know better, God expects you to do better. And I will continue to pray for you. I hold no animosity nor no judgment against you. But I would be remiss as a minister for not bringing this to you. Luke 12:2-3 says, "The time is coming when everything that is covered up will be revealed, and all that is secret will be made known to all. Whatever you have said in the dark will be heard in the light, and what you have whispered behind closed doors will be shouted from the housetops for all to hear."